Today I want to show you the difference between different paint pens that you can use. So here we have these paint pens. These are acrylic, and acrylic paint is permanent, but it's water-based. These are water-based paints. Then we also have these paint pens, and these are Sharpie permanent paint also, but these are oil-based. So I'm going to show you the difference between the two paint pens, and then I'll tell you which one I prefer. Okay, so I'm going to test out the paint pens on this little rock, the brand new pen. We have this orange pen. And what you want to do always with paint pens is you want to give them a little shake. And then once you have shaken them, you want to have a piece of paper or something that you could test out to see if it's ready. If the tip is white, that means the ink has not come down. There's a little sponge in here that absorbs the paint and then it comes through. So you want to gently push down. You could do this on a piece of paper too. And you could see the paint is starting to flow down to the tip. Once it's here, you'll know that you're ready to work on whatever project you're going to be working on. Oops. Okay, so there we go. So if I'm going to take the acrylic paint marker and I'm going to, let's see, I'll make a star. It goes on really nicely. Doesn't really seem to drip, which is nice. Now I'm going to try the same thing using the oil-based Sharpie. So you can see it says oil-based. This one is not new, so I've already gone through the same process of pushing it down. And this one looks ready to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw a star again. So you can see that it's not really covering the black as much. I would need to probably put a few layers on, but I'm going to push down and see if I can get some more ink coming out of here. Now with the oil-based paints, you want to make sure you don't push down too much because then they flow really fast and sometimes start to drip. And it could ruin your piece of artwork, whatever you're working on. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes and I'm looking at my rock. And this is a big difference, the drying time. So the water base is completely dry. I could touch it, nothing comes off. And the oil base is still really sticky. You can see, just takes a lot longer to dry, which means if you wanted to put a second layer on here, you'd have to wait a really long time. And for working with kids, it would be frustrating, I think, for them to have to wait. However, this dries as a matte finish and this is going to dry as a shiny finish. So it's been about 15 minutes since I've used these two colors, and I just want to say this one's fully dry and this one even 15 minutes later is still, you can see, a little bit tacky. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes and we're going to take a look at the difference between the oil-based and the water-based on this metal tin. You can see this is a matte finish. Feels almost like chalk, but it does not wipe off. This one has more of a shiny finish. And so if I'm working on metal, I think I'm going to prefer using the oil-based because the lack of shininess is going to bother me. But now I want to test to see how easily they come off if we spray them with a little bit of alcohol. So this is good to know for cleaning up. Okay, so let's just take a look and see what happens. So the oil-based looks like it comes off fairly easily from metal. Which surprises me because when I've used it on wood, you cannot get it off. So metal, looks like if you mess up, you can get most of it off. And then the acrylic comes completely off. So that's another thing to keep in mind, especially if you're working with kids and they mess up and they want to start again. Much easier to do that with acrylic. Yeah, another layer of alcohol and it still is there. It's lighter, but it's still there. So you're not going to completely be able to remove it. So that's another observation that I think is important to take a look at. I wanted to test out how much these leak when you continuously push on them, because I know the Sharpie oil-based markers, when I push too hard, they'll start to drip. And I'm seeing that this is a brand new marker and it really isn't flooding. So I can get a little bit more paint out by doing that, but it's not like going overboard. And I think these are much easier to make designs with rather than using a paintbrush and paint. So for kids that are looking to write words or inspirational messages, having a writing utensil makes the process a lot easier. Actually, makes it easier for adults too. I want to show you one more thing using these acrylic markers is that you actually can blend with them. So if you wanted to mix two colors, it works a lot like paint. And as we get close to the border of the two colors, you can see that you can blend them. Oh, and if you blend them, you'll see that the bottom of the marker now has a little bit of orange on it. But if you just write a little bit, it will go back to its original pink color. So that's a pretty cool feature as well.